Hey everybody, welcome into this Friday live stream. I hope you're doing really well. Sorry for the delay. I was doing some research about something in particular. So we're here now. It's great to be here. Today's stream is going to be really fun because the first half of this, we will be talking about the new update from Wuthering Waves, which has got me really excited. That'll eventually be turned into a video too. So if you're watching this later, don't worry, you'll get a detailed video later. And then we will be watching the World of Warcraft orchestra performance from their 30th anniversary broadcast the other day, which is really exciting. So I'm really looking forward to today. And then this afternoon, of course, will be the Patreon live stream, which will be featuring music from the Patreon suggestions. I'm really excited about that as well. That's something we do every Friday, and that will be continuing today. So let's just dive right in. Lots to do here. I wanted to hop into Wuthering Waves. As you know, I'm a big fan of Wuthering Waves. In fact, Wuthering Waves is a delight. It's easily one of my, well, it's certainly my favorite gacha game, but I would also say that it's probably, honestly, it's a wonderful game. I mean, it's like one of my favorite games, actually. I really don't play it all the time, but when I do, I never have an issue. And I wanted to hop into Wuthering Waves this early morning and look at some of the really cool things that they're doing from an ambient music perspective. Some really interesting things. And most importantly, today's main focus when we talk about Wuthering Waves and how Wuthering Waves is improving each and every patch is to look at ambient music. I really want to spend some time focusing on how Wuthering Waves' most recent patch, besides the fact that Camellia is an incredible character and a joy to play and broken, I really want to take a look at how they're maximizing the use of ambient sound production. So once this loads up, we'll dive in and talk about it. Hey everybody, hey mods, how you doing? Thanks for being here early. Hey Zav, hey everybody, hey Weiss. Yeah. Ravazian, how you doing? Oskalego, Silika, how you doing? All right, let's just give this a second to patch up. I did finish Encore. Well, not her story quests, but certainly her Somnium quest. That was very good. Hey, Fenton, Adam. Sorry, Adam, how you doing? You finished 1.4? Because as far as I knew, it was just the Somnium. Did I miss something? I thought it was just the event. You got an extra dupe in a single 10 pull? Holy shit. If you're talking about the Somnium, I've caught up. I'm not finished because it's the next part of it releases on the 16th. Yeah, I did not get a double Camellia. But Camellia is very broken, and probably Chongli and Camellia now are my two favorite characters, and I finally have two teams because I love having a team setup that's Camellia, Sanhua, and Shorekeeper. So I need to boost up Verena here now for my other heals. I'm not re-downloading, I'm compiling shaders. I lost my pity at 20, and I got a second Verena, which was very upsetting. Everyone's at level 60 right now. Sorry, just bear with me. I did not get the free one. I'm looking forward to pulling for him, though. I don't mind. But I'm glad I have two teams now for Tower of Adversity. A ribbon dancer? I could totally see that. She's incredible. She's incredible, and the fact that she blocks, she automatically parries. and count. What the fuck? All right, hold on. It's weird. Okay, so the plan for the first half of this stream is to really dive into, and I already did my introduction for my editor, Nathan, who's editing this later. I've already done my introduction to this particular eventual video. Now, this stream is going to be a video sometime next week, but let's lower down some of our sound effects here and really focus in on the music especially. So, a couple things that I find really impressive about this patch right off the go. Music is good. Okay, let's go over to the as a general rule, the pacing of the Somnium stuff is incredible. Now, granted, when I first started, I will admit to you that I really didn't know what was going on. I was very confused, a little bit frustrated actually, because I was like, why is Wuthering Waves constantly busting out more and more techno jargon and techno babble that I can't understand? But as time has gone on, let's start off right here. This is incredible ambient music. It's melodically focused. That's the melody, right? That's incredibly, really cool. Da, 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 yo. That's it. That's the melody. And we have a little bit of the sound effect floating through the wind, floating through the sky. And then what we're actually getting is this ambient music with this trickle of this twinkle almost. Obviously, we get a synthetic sound in there. But this is really where it's at for me. Now, what a mood. What a mood. It's really impressive. It's ethereal. It feels like a dreamscape, right? It feels like we're in a dream. It's a bleak, broken world. Most importantly, too, if we even talk about more than the music, what's really impressive about 1.4's patch so far, and we still have more to unlock, is the fact that each one of these stories is intriguing. Each one of these stories is short, to the point, direct, and we feel a tangible benefit to helping these characters. Every single one of these is different. I did not expect to like Zhuzh's story quest, this character quest of her dreamscape, and yet I found myself really, really locking into this idea of how important it is to be an artist, right? How important it is to not just constantly make copies of something that works for you just because that's what the public wants, or that's what your salesperson wants. Encore Story Quest was so bright and cheerful, I'd like to revisit some of these with you. Gerbil Girl, amazing. I can't wait to pull for her. Also really cute, love her jacket. I also felt Yinlin, is that her name? Yinlin? Well, let me just confirm. Yeah, Yinlin's story, I was getting a little bit tired of doing the 4 of these back to back. Yinlin's story was amazing. So what I'm really appreciating is that every single one of these was different. And so it didn't feel repetitive or redundant. But more than that, throughout this entire thing, after you're done with these worlds, you come back to this, seemingly silly subway car that kind of makes no sense with this inverted water that we've seen, obviously. And we're left with this wonderful, simple, repetitive pattern where we can't help but be like, man, like, it's obvious that this is a ethereal, otherworldly, transportive theme, right? What works really well about this particular track is that it sets mood, it sets intention, and it makes us feel like we're a part of something. And a lot of that's intangible, and a lot of that comes from you like thinking or feeling it, right? But I'm really impressed that it's leaning on this melodic pattern over and over and over. Da, da, ya, da, ya. With a little bit of a background thing there. Da, da, ya, da, yo. That's it. And you may be saying to yourself, well, that's kind of simple. Why is that any good? And the reality is that it's amazing. It's amazing because it's simple. It's amazing because it has forward momentum melodically, which is one thing that's been a bit of a struggle for this Wuthering Waves Kuro Games team to lean on, this melodic pattern. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily have the complaint that the score has been average or boring, but this is more memorable to me than anything I've heard in Wuwa previously. The Black Shores was great, and The Firmament was also very good. But this feels like it's taking it to another level, even though it's way more dialed back than previous pieces of music. But it's certainly come such a nice way from 1.0, right? And I really wanted to spend time here because I felt like this was actually the most interesting part for me of this entire experience so far. And there's obviously more to go because I'm filming this right after 1.4 releases, and we have some time-gated stuff, which, don't get me started on time gating. I mean, I get it, but it's still so annoying to time gate things, but that's just the way gacha works, I think. So let's dive in here. And another theme that I felt was really impressive was sorry, I have to check these because I just have to check them. Oh. 5 unlocked today? I thought it unlocked on the 16th. Oh, it's every day. Ooh, the urge to play that, but we're not here to play. We're here to talk about the music. The one thing that was really impressive to me as well is the Rift Runner music. So let's hop into... you have them all already? Today's not the 16th. Today's the 15th. All right, weird. Let's hop into Rift Runner. Well, I guess I know what I'm doing later. Let's lock into Rift Runner here and check out some of this music as well. I thought this was also really impressive. What? Okay. Sorry, as this car tries to come in. So this is great too. First of all, what an incredible... I mean, this is a very simple gameplay moment. But the forward momentum that we feel with the zoomed in camera, the repetitive pattern in here, with that strong beat emphasis, is what makes this so enjoyable. You feel like you're going fast, right? And that's something really exciting and worth pointing out to me. Right? You get a little bit of accents, especially in the upper register. But it's mostly based on a beat structure. It's a very simple thing, if you think about it. There's really not that much going on here. And yet, it's perfect, you know? And I think it works really well because it is in total opposition. Sorry. It's in total opposition to what the Somnor sounds like, which is way dialed back, way more ethereal, and I think that does a great job of highlighting that sense of urgency that we feel to try to get to, the end in time. But this is the first track that I've really listened to that I felt compelled to sit here, and so yesterday I was doing other things, and I decided to sit down and really listen to the music. and actually left it idle. It reminds me a lot of Nier again, and I think that, you know, borrowing from Team Monaka's soundscape is never a problem. It's really great, really, really impressive. Now, I haven't even touched other things like the Camellia story quest, companion quest, which is obviously something I'd like to do, and other things. But I really wanted to at least come in and really quickly just say how thrilled I am. Thrilled that we're moving in a very forward and beautiful direction when it comes to Wuthering Waves. And I can't continue to express how excited I am to support this game. And I just love it. I just love it. It's really, really good. And this music alone is an identifier for where we're going. And I know that this is the last of the 1.0 patches. And I'm so excited for 2.0. So excited for 2.0. If Camellia and characters like Chong-Li exist in this game, boy, we really have no idea what's coming ahead of us. And that's really exciting. So I know this is a short video. I know this is just a little bit of a taste of my thoughts on 1.4, but I felt it was important to get it out to you because this is really exciting. And I'm really thrilled. I'm really, 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 really thrilled. So thanks a ton. There'll be more to come for sure. I'll talk to you later. Okay, chat. So that's my 1.4 sort of really quick impressions. I certainly would like to do the Camellia story quest musically. You know, I was thinking about doing something else on Tuesday, but it may be that on Tuesday I do it if I can, or, you know, maybe what it'll come down to is me filming it and playing through it on Sunday or something, and then circling back to it because I'm so happy with Wuthering Waves right now. Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Faye. Yeah, I'm doing all right. So, you know, for those of you that are here for Wuthering Waves, thanks for being here. I would love for you to stay. We're actually going to be pivoting now to another video. Just so you know, if you haven't been here in a little bit or something, I've pivoted to doing full-time live streaming now. That's where I'm filming most of my content. It's obviously a much smaller volume in terms of like the people that watch lives versus the people that watch videos and things. So you're kind of here for the process, if you will. I'm really grateful that you'd stop by and say hello. Wuthering Waves continues to be probably one of my top 20 games of all time, honestly, and it's probably really realistically the only gacha I actively play. The double wave plates thing is incredible stuff. Camellia as a character is insane. I mean, like worth swiping for and then some, in my personal opinion, when it comes to spending money on gacha. I've spent quite a bit of money on gacha in the past, but I've yet to feel any sort of regret with pulling it in this game, which is sort of shocking, you know, especially considering that it can be a temporary thing. The grinding in this game has really, really improved. The double nameplates, the ability to instantly teleport to I think that came out sooner. It came out in a couple patches ago, but being able to teleport right to where you need to go. I mean, I think that the events are really cool. The multi ultimates is insane. I really would like to see that fleshed out further and to have that be an ability that we see in the main game. I hope it does. I hope that the response is very positive to that so that we end up seeing that more permanently. That would be incredible. Hey Prime, what's up? They do seem to care very much. I do hope that what I'm really impressed by with the Somnium stuff is that the story actually, this could have very easily been a filler. It could have been a very easy filler event, and in fact, I'm finding that it's quite the opposite. It feels very good, and it feels like really important to the main story. Not only that, but it's a really nice way for those of us that aren't interested. For those of us that are not interested in in companion quests, or maybe we don't want to do, like hangouts and things, and maybe we feel a little bit of odd parasocial connections to characters. Like I've never really been into like hangout quests. I have to say that doing the Somnium has been really cool because I'm getting into the psychology of these characters. And most interestingly to me is that they somehow, and Kuro's done this before, and certainly they did it with PGR with the Selena arc, because wow, like it's so true to life. But what Kuro's done is take these anime characters that most people would probably write off as superficial or casual or sort of, easily not taken seriously, and created an experience where I genuinely cared for what was happening to Yinlin yesterday when I played it. Like I was like, oh my God, like she's been betrayed. Or the Zhuzh's story quest in this Somnium where, she's trying to figure out what it means to be an artist. And she's burning herself out, doing the same thing over and over and over because that's what gets her commissioner money. Or Encore's beautiful, playful story about fighting off the big bad demon and that childlike wonder and helping these people. I was talking with one of the mods yesterday, Tsuki, and I was saying, it's interesting because a lot of what we're experiencing in Wuthering Waves right now is actually something that you would experience in Warframe, with Warframe's smaller quests, whether it's the Chains of Harrow or the Sacrifice. A lot of these things are not dissimilar to that, where we as a protagonist are helping people around us. I also didn't realize that the Somnium stuff would be so meaningful to the overall plot, continuing to uncover that mystery of, and we're starting to do that, of course, with last patch with the Shorekeeper and the Black Shores and our place in that. But also this patch just feels very, very, very good. And again, it could have easily been a total filler quest. This could have been like a nice little event. And it's not. It directly connects to the lament. Thank you. It directly connects us to the lament. And it directly... Thank you. And it directly connects us to, the larger over... Thank you. I can't read that. It's too small. And it directly connects us to the... Oh, thanks, Fate. I appreciate that, Fate. Thank you. Uh-oh. Thanks, Fate. So I'm really thrilled. I'm really thrilled with Wuthering Waves. I can't say it enough. I love this game. I really, really, really do. I really, really, really do. There's so much passion coming out of Kuro, and it's very exciting to participate in. And the thing about it is that you don't have to play it all the time either. You pick it up, you put it down. You can play for like 4 days straight and be like, all right, I'm good. You play for an hour. All right, I'm good. You move on to something else. They make it so that there's a lot of rewards to be getting, a lot of asteroids are available, and the events have been really decent. I didn't play 1.3 because I felt like that was purely filler, but I really have zero issues. So, thanks, Faye. I appreciate you. No spoiler talk. Not really, anyway. Well, a little bit, but just for the first couple episodes. So I'd love for you to hang out. For those of you that are specifically here for Wuthering Waves, like I would love for you to hang out and listen to some music with us. One thing I'd like to mention before I dive into the World of Warcraft music stuff is I'm really impressed with Dragon Quest III 2D HD. If you haven't heard the Dragon Quest 2D HD music, you really owe it to yourself, if you're a video game music fan, broadly speaking, to check it out. It's amazing. I played it for a couple hours yesterday in between playing Wuthering Waves. It's so good. It's so good. And I just wanted to, yes, Kramen, Dragon Quest III HD 2D OST. And I just wanted to take some time to highlight I don't even know if the soundtrack's up yet, but I don't think it is. It's like classic turn-based combat. Classic, like you just turn your brain off. I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's mind-blowing. What's this? Yeah. So this style of music in Dragon Quest 3, 2D or HD 2D, 2D HD whatever. It sounds all like this. Every town you go into, the main theme everywhere. And so you're exploring this world and it just feels so good. This is a soundscape that is delightful. Put this in a symphony hall. No one's going to know that it's from a video game. Really stunning stuff. Really stunning stuff. Yada yada. Ba 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 ba. What a delight. What a delight. What a delight. What a delight. What an absolute delight. What an absolute delight. And the amazing thing is that the entirety of Dragon Quest III's HD 2D sound is like that. So it doesn't matter whether you're in a town, whether you're in the overture, the main theme. It's an incredibly satisfying sonoral experience. And if you're a fan of orchestral music and games, Dragon Quest III's HD 2D game is absolutely worth playing. I mean, it's sublimely good. And it just hits that sweet spot where you just feel the orchestral music just pouring over you, and it's a delight in every single way. Hold on one second. I have to head over to BlueSky and let people know that I'm alive. I'm not alive, but live. I am no longer on Twitter. Just because. What? Sorry, bear with me. Because Twitter sucks. All the drama that occurred to me this year could have been avoided if I just had left if I had left Twitter sooner, which is really annoying. Hey everyone, I'm live on YouTube listening to the World of Warcraft Symphony from their 30th anniversary broadcast. 1 second, Ted. And then listening to Patreon suggestions at 1 p.m. EST. Are you fucking kidding? I just deleted all that. Hey everyone. I'm live on YouTube listening to the 30th anniversary World of Warcraft. I'm changing. Woo was done. We did the Woo section. East EST right now is 11 o'clock. World of Warcraft concert, orchestra concert. And then 1 p.m. listening to Patreon suggestions. Feel free to join. To join either stream. Okay. So, speaking of World of Warcraft, it's the desk. It's the desk. Also, this is on a it's I have my teleprompter here, so it's shaking violently. Let's check this out, shall we? So very cool. How long is this? Very long. Fantastic. Let's go over to Twitch really quickly and change the stream info. Thank you to you Woo players that came to watch the video, came to watch that little brief part of the stream. I wish there was a way to keep you here, but it's okay. All right, let's... Unfortunately, I have no drama to report on BlueSky because there's none. Welcome in, Jake Baldino. Alrighty, let's do it. Oops. I'm also curious to see what the hell the music commentary is going to be in this chat from World of Warcraft. Feel free to lurk. Thanks for the lurk. So as a reminder, I really don't know very much about World of Warcraft's music, so this is a new experience for me as well. If I recall, though, this was filmed in Switzerland because they just did a series of concerts in Switzerland. Yeah, 25 Yada. Mother Jazz Gospel. Okay. Are they booting up the PS3? So I know you're being silly, but just so you know, that tuning is so that everyone's on the same pitch and no one dips flat or anything like that. Just I know that's obvious possibly, but some people don't actually know what that is. And usually that the oboe starts and everyone tunes to A440. So it's like the oboe, for whatever reason, is the instrument that is the most accurate when it comes to pitch. And then everyone else pitches around that so that we're all on the same tone, so that there's no deviations in pitch or anything. Look at all these happy folks here, all these wowers. Look at all these different walks of life. You have young people. Well, they're all young. I'm looking for different age demographics. Well, everyone's young, which is actually very exciting. I don't see any elderly folks. Right here, I think there's one right there. Everyone's very young. That's... Oh no, that's just dyed hair. It's not an old person. So they made the maestro. Oh, that's cool. They made the maestro in the game itself. You have a nice different age demographic for this orchestra. And who knows, I don't know what this orchestra is, if this was the World of Warcraft orchestra. I think this is a very specific, that is exactly, I love that the bassoonist is this casual man right here. That makes me laugh. I'll be stopping and starting as we go. Oh, nice. The main theme. Can you hear me okay, by the way? So this is interesting. Just as a side note, what's interesting to me is that the balancing is interesting. The chorus is almost too prevalent, and they're a bit over the top of the orchestra here, which is ever so slightly to the sound detriment. I mean, it's not a big deal. But I also like, one of the things that I really do appreciate about World of Warcraft's music on the whole is how much it leans into choral use. I mean, there's plenty of soundtracks that use chorus, Bloodborne, whatever, there's so many. But World of Warcraft really, really, really emphasizes a lot of choral music as well as, all the other stuff. And one of the things that it does so well is ambiance. Ambiance is terrific. Oh, I'm realizing this is oh wow, this is almost, oh shit. This is a 1.5 hour concert. We'll have to split this up. This is what Dearsley was telling me earlier, that this concert, we wouldn't be able to do this in one go. So we'll have to split this into 2 parts. Whoa, sharp dissonance. That's interesting. That's really interesting how we have that clash. I think we're about to launch into the main theme of World of Warcraft here because of the way that we're ascending up. But one of the really interesting things musically here is that the way that we get into the clash music is by increasing the dial on the sopranos and having them point upwards, and then having them essentially like hit pitches that are out of the chord structure, so that it causes that sense of tension, which is always really interesting. What's up? Yeah, I was right. Oh man, throwback. Also worth pointing out is how incredibly satisfying. I mean, this is part of the conversation around the main theme too, but what I love about that is the low brass, the trombones especially. It sounds like the emphasis there on the bah, and then on top of that, the strings go yada da da yada da da yada da 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 da, and then we get that bum ba da I love that heavy emphasis on that on those beats. Right there, you see how it swells a little bit in crescendos? Da, da, dum, dum, da, da. And you have the piano. You can't see it, but the piano is at the very lower end of its register, and it's interesting because the piano as an instrument is highly percussive, and so you end up with this dum 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 dum. It's almost hit. There's a hit. We often get confused with the piano because we think that the piano is, well, either its own instrument or a string instrument, possibly, but it's very much a percussion instrument in its own right. We're hitting keys, after all. We're hitting the hammers, and the hammers are striking the chord and the wire, and that's what's causing the sound. Mechanically, obviously, here it's a keyboard. Where is it? It's like right over here somewhere, right there. It's right down there. And yeah, that's very interesting. Also, from a sonoral sound point, obviously there are microphones here. There's probably either one or two. I wonder if these are microphones, but the chorus is being picked up by mics, but so this sound would actually be, it would depend. It would either be more or less loud, depending on the acoustics. And here we have these things called acoustic panels. Also, I really like these LED lights that are showcasing the different colors. It's a really nice, it also looks very nice decoratively. Obviously you have the screen. This is like such a commonplace thing for those of you that haven't gone to a video game music concert. This is like par for the course. Huge chorus, much bigger chorus than most other video game concerts I've attended. Usually they are tending to be over on this side or this side, rather than completely in the back, which is very common for your standard orchestral choral literature. I can count on I can't even count, I should say, the amount of times that I've done a performance where I've been in a format like this. And the back is usually the tenors, and the basses, I'm not sure which direction. And then here, of course, you'll have your mezzos and your sopranos, and they'll altos in this case, and sopranos, and they'll be near towards the front. Usually I actually don't know what the placement usually is. I just know that as a tenor, I was always in the upper register, upper rows, maybe because we sing higher. I don't actually know why, but this would be quite the column of sound hitting you in the face, especially those of us that were sitting in this front row here. I talk as if I was actually there. I wasn't, but it's a very impressive sound quality. And depending on the venue, the sound would either be extremely loud, but chances are it's also mic'd. Yeah, in fact, you can see, but this might be for the recording. There's some miking here, looks like. Well, usually the only time instruments are in a pit is if they are accompanying like a performance. The only time instruments, this is a standard layout for an orchestral performance. The only time an orchestra is in a pit is if we're doing a musical or an opera. Okay, this is a melody. Oh, this is Stormville. Oh, this instrument has always been so interesting to me. I can't remember the name of this. It's like is it a bass trombone? No, I forget the name of this. Stormwind. Yeah, I meant Stormwind. Adam, if you're in the chat, Shimba, so that, yeah, thank you. Ooh, goosebumps. Da, da, ya, da, 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 ya. This is impressive. This choir, I cannot tell you how hard it is to get a choir to be fully in tune and move at the same time as an orchestra. This is a well-practiced choir. This is a choir that has really taken the time to really do this in a good way and get it right. And it's a very satisfying thing. Stuff like that rhythm. Also, the intonation is really good. So as a unit, you have to think that like those are all solo singers that are in a choir. Right. And it's really important that all of those singers move at the same time, sing correctly the right pitches, are in tune, and are also blending so that they're all matching. And that is a very hard thing to do. And it's one of the most inspiring things about a choir is when a choir has intonation and is fully in sync. It's a big deal. And it's very hard to do. It's something that we see a lot with various orchestras, and I do tend to see it a lot with pickup orchestras, where there is a tendency to not be a cohesive unit because they're pickup orchestras or pickup choirs. So it's not like, it's like something they do on the side. I would imagine that these are all very professional musicians. Or at least are studied musicians who have been around the block. And performed in multiple different choirs. And especially in Europe, there's a pretty, I can't give you specifics, but I know there's a choral like history there. And I think this was in Switzerland, so I don't know what the musical landscape of Switzerland is itself, but music is very important, especially in Europe. Less so in the States, but the States is different because the States are so big, so it's easy to kind of get lost. And there's a lot of different ensembles of varying degrees. Now you have to remember that in the United States, everything is non-for-profit, so you don't necessarily make a lot of money or any money when you're in a pickup band or orchestra. Usually it's just because you want to. There are certain smaller orchestras that I've sung with, especially in Kentucky, the Owensboro Symphony Orchestra. There's just random orchestras that do legitimately have good players in them. But in Europe, it tends to be a little bit more concentrated, a little bit more fleshed out, a little bit more focused, which is very interesting. So anyway, really impressed by the intonation here. Like everyone's in tune there.
Good evening, heroes of Azeroth, and welcome to World of Warcraft 20 Years of Music.
The Burning Crusade, Beyond the Dark Portal. This is so cool. That's such a if I were chains. You don't see that. Keys, you don't see that very frequently. These are specific instruments that are being used to create whatever sound effect. Obviously, if it's like, dwarves or certain races, that's really interesting to see that the chain being hit. It's very obviously not common. Of course, this is the timpani, which is really such a backbone of the symphonic experience. The timpani is a glorious instrument. And these two need to be tuned because, and it's very interesting listening to a percussionist before a show with their head tilted into the large drum here, and boom 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 as they tune that. It's very interesting. Again, that really nice crescendo. Wow. Da-da-da. That's a good choir. Well, it's very dreamy. That nice French horn melody there, and the nice to hear that harp too, getting some solo isolation moments. This is interesting. The bass clarinet, just a personal lore story for me. I used to play the bass clarinet. I actually, in 5th grade, I started playing the clarinet. And then I wanted something a little bit more masculine. For whatever reason, my brain said, well, at the time, there were mostly girls playing clarinet. So I was like, I want something that's not girly. And so my teacher gave me the bass clarinet. And I remember getting on my school bus for the first time. And this thing, I mean, I was, that's as big as a young child. And I grabbed this bass clarinet, and I remember going on the bus and like literally like I couldn't walk because the thing was like next to it. It was huge. In hindsight, that was stupid. I should have stayed with the clarinet because there's one bass clarinet per orchestra. And it's very hard. This person is really talented. It's very hard to actually get a seat in an orchestra as a bass clarinetist. Clarinet is also very difficult. There's only so many. Clarinet's a beautiful instrument. So many wonderfully virtuosic solos and different things that can be played on the clarinet. Such a terrifically woody sound. Obviously not as rich as the bassoon, which would be over here, but even so, it's I have a lot of love for the clarinet. The flute, also very interesting, a woodwind instrument, very challenging to play, and it's incredible stuff. And then of course the oboe. A lot of these most oboists make their own reeds, or certainly in grad school learn how to cut their own reeds here. They're very temperamental instruments, which is why oboists also tend to be very temperamental and anxious. But this is the instrument that sort of starts the tuning process, which is it's a very interesting history here with the tuning and the process behind that. So. But really, in essence, I actually have I have a ton of respect for French hornists, because talk about a temperamental instrument. I mean, hearing a French horn crack is a very funny experience, but it's terrifying for a French horn. I mean, they're very like sensitive instruments to pitch. She's wearing elf. This woman is wearing elf earpieces. Sha da 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 da. Bam. I mean, terrific playing. I mean, there's a unison playing here that's really phenomenal. I mean, you saw how the strings are bowing more or less at the same time. It's really impressive just how connected this orchestra is to itself. You know, most orchestras really only get a couple days rehearsal, maybe one rehearsal, certainly for a tour. I don't know what the rehearsal process here. I'd have to ask Neil Acree, but it's incredible how synced up this performance really is. Harpsichord. So that's why they have the keyboards, so they can pivot to harpsichord really fast. Not the Secret Labs chair for World of Warcraft combined with, yeah, so it's a keyboard that's allowing for, I didn't expect this keyboard over here. The other two keyboardists are on this side. I'm not sure why they did that way. That's very interesting. Again, another question I would have to ask one of the music staff from World of Warcraft, but that's very funny. And again, I mean, the reason why we're using the keyboard is that we can quickly change the sound settings. Of course, those of us that have played one recognize that we can change the sound settings, so it's cool. I find that bassoonists always get regulated to like pieces like that. Oh, look at boom bum bum 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 ba-da-dum boom boom bum bum ba-da-dum ba-da-dum. It's cool how you can see that chuck. That's what we call that, the chuck 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 . Yeah, so you see here it says pipe organ. So this pianist, the sound setting is pipe organ for this particular sequence. It's very interesting how they have to have the laptops in order to. Very cool. Load it up. It's like storm music. Interesting to move into like this heralding music here. What are the comments saying about this? Huh? Wait, that sounds like that sounds like a Night on Bald Mountain. Interesting. That's almost a direct paraphrase. I like how in musical way the way to get to sound scary is to go oh, that's funny. And there's dissonance there because the tenors are doing something else. Da da show. That's high. Dum 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 dum. It's very good. Let's see, who do we have in the audience? Young people, young people, young people. This guy with the nice mustache. Older lady. Older lady? Young people, young people. Oh, wow. You know, one of the things that I find really impressive about WoW's soundtrack in particular, it's interesting because some folks that are in the classical music industry would probably say, well, like, it's everything. It's nothing that I haven't heard before. And that's very valid. But from the flip side of this argument, from my side of the argument, I should say, it's really great. It's great that it sounds like classical orchestral music. because that's like a bridging point, you know. And the thing is, like, if I tell you to go to a symphony hall or listen to Felix Mendelssohn's Third Symphony, Fourth Movement, right? Like, the divide there for you is actually pretty reasonable. Like, there's really not much of a significant difference between. Now it's structured differently, and there's no visual. Like, it's all based on your imagination. But one of the things that World of Warcraft music does exceptionally well is that essentially it's this thing called a tone poem. I mean, a tone poem is like a musical story with no visuals, you know? And I think, like, and yeah, it's true. It's no different than a non-WoW player listening to this, right? If they have never played WoW and you listen to this, it's literally the same as if going to a symphony hall. So I find this particular experience very interesting because there's really, like, no barrier to entry, but besides stigmatized feelings and thoughts on both ends of the spectrum between classical and video game music. This is one of the same. This is one and the same. If you threw in and hear some Mozart, you would be able to tell the difference by the way it's structured and laid out. But in theory, it's the same. It's very impressive. And I think a lot of people think, like, oh, I don't like classical music, or oh, that's not for me, or whatever. And it's like, it kind of is, actually, because you already listened to it if you listen to this. And if you've listened to other orchestral video game music, I hate to say it, but you're already a classical music fan. Like, you just give up. I mean, that's a fact. You know, they're connected. They're the same musical history, and I find that to be really fun and a fun way to look at it too. Oh, so much clash there. What I find interesting is that even though a lot of these tracks have various uses of choir and orchestra, and certainly this one feels much more ethereal because of, I mean, especially when we look at like what's happening with the, the bright flowers and all that, there are the bright trees, and the vocal line here is very, very ethereal, very, especially because we're mostly on vowels. And so vowels tend to produce, whether it's a, e, I, o, u, they tend to produce, especially sustained and moving and floating up and down. Those tend to produce a feeling of etherealness, of being heightened or what have you. It's very interesting. Our first solo of the night. What an interesting mix of hopeful and terrifying at the same time. Feels like a broken land, doesn't it? Da, da, da. We sort of reset there. Very percussion heavy there with that forward drive. It's interesting. Bum, bum, bum. Boom, boom, boom. Whoa, so triumphant. Shum da 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 dum, shum da dum da da da. Rip-a-ba. Rap-a-ba, rap-a-ba-ba-ba-ba, rap-a-ba. Those trombones are at the very lowest parts. It's incredible how it produces such an intense sound. Gorgeous trumpet solo there. Rare. What a cool sound. Oh, creepy strings! Look at how they do it! Oh, da, 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 da. Oh, goosebumps. Oh my god, such intense goosebumps, holy shit. And that fade as we see Arthas. Incredible stuff. I mean, it's really impressive. I would like to listen to more of this for sure, but that was a good dose of that for now. This will be here, so I'd like to revisit it certainly. I think World of Warcraft does such a great job of setting an ambient mood that gives you a lot of information about a place. It gives you a lot of information about a place. It gives you a lot of information about the world around you, how you fit into that world, rather than how you are the main character of that experience. I think that's something that WoW does really well. WoW does such a great job of painting a musical environment. And that's been my experience, having played a little bit of it, for about 60 hours or so. Like, just how important the setting of the musical experience is versus the melodic experience. A lot of it's amorphous, and a lot of it's not necessarily even memorable. There are obviously key pieces that are memorable, but in general, the real scope of WoW's music is to get you to feel like you're a part of an experience, a part of an environment, and I think that it does it very well. It's an incredible thing to have 30 years of history, musical history, or 25 to 30 years of musical history. And I mean, at this point, WoW is an institution in and of itself. And regardless of whatever problems that Blizzard and WoW continue to have, which there are several, I do think being that it's been around so long, it's kind of like its own little like niche of music as well. And even though it does borrow from classical stylings, you know, at this point is WoW's music no longer classical, but just WoW, you know, just World of Warcraft. It certainly borrows from all the classical sort of foundations that have come before it. But I do think that when you're doing something for 30 years, at what point does it just become like the standard for that particular soundscape? You know what I mean? It's really impressive. You know, whether or not we get to all of this, I'm not sure. I'd like to, but you know, it's the schedule is constantly moving forward. So there's more I'd like to experience, of course, especially the newer stuff. But yeah, this was a delight to listen to. Thanks everybody for being here. At 1 o'clock, we will be popping over to the Patreon live stream to be listening to some Patreon suggestions, as is standard on Friday afternoons. That's 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, give or take an hour. I would like to get through as much as possible and enjoy a lot of music this afternoon. So I will see you back here in an hour. I have to upload a video and also have lunch. So thanks a ton, everybody. I really appreciate that. And I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Thanks for being here. Take care.